Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm continuing on with my MCU reviews, and today we're up to Phase 2. And of course, the beginning of Phase 2 is of course Iron Man 3, starring Robert Downey Jr., Ben Kingsley, Don Cheadle, Guy Pearce, and Gwyneth Paltrow. When Tony Stark's world is torn apart around him by a terrorist called the Mandarin, he gets trapped in Tennessee, so he must come back to save the world from the extremist virus. I love Iron Man 3. I think it is one of my favorite MCU movies, honestly. It's one of those movies that if it was on TV, I'm going to watch it no matter what point of the movie I'm at. And also, that's how much I love this movie. I don't know if it's going to be in my top 5 or top 10, but we will just have to wait and see once I get further through the MCU, right? But I do love lots about this movie, and I think that I guess we will see. Just have to wait and see until where it ends up, right? But I love that this movie introduces the nanotech, because this becomes a huge part into the later MCU movies, especially when you get to like Infinity War, right? And you see like the nanotech Iron Man suit that he uses against Ebony Maw and stuff, right? So, and I think that that's really interesting that that's introduced in this movie in particularly, and especially how in Endgame with the new upgrade suit and all that. I think that that's really, really cool. One thing that I do love about this movie is that Pepper Potts gets the Iron Man suit, which laid the groundwork for what we eventually see in Avengers Endgame, which I think is really, really cool. And the fact that we see Pepper in the Mark 42, which is what, before Endgame, if you go like, oh, has Pepper ever been in an Iron Man suit? You go like, yeah, but because Endgame's now came out, people kind of forget that it's kind of that Iron Man 3 was kind of the first time we saw that happen, because Endgame's just that good. And also, I love how in the LEGO Avengers game you can play as Pepper in the Iron Man Mark 43 suit. I think that that's really, really fun. And I love that. And apparently the directors Shane Black wanted Val Kilmer in this movie, and RDJ agreed, and apparently just never showed up. I don't know who you would have gotten Val Kilmer for in this movie. Like, going through all the list of characters, I'm just like, who would you get him for? Because if this wasn't a MCU movie, you probably could have made like a reference kind of thing that he was once Batman. But I don't know what you would have done with Val, really. So I know that kind of shocks me for some weird reason. And I always thought, why would you make a Captain America looking armor and not have Chris Evans inside it? Because the Iron Patriot armor is because it was originally Norman Osborn when he was making his own Dark Avengers, but because you don't have the Sony stuff in the MCU or the Fox stuff, you can't really do any of them. So it's like, I know, it always kind of confused me how that was a Captain America looking Iron Man suit, but wasn't wasn't Cap in the suit, until Rhodey talks about how the military wanted to change the name. I know, that just kind of confused me a bit. And this movie makes Tony Stark basically James Bond, which I really, really like. And I've never been a big James Bond fan, even though I have legit all the movies in this fantastic box set. But I've never been a big James Bond fan, right? So Tony Stark being basically the MCU James Bond, I'm like, Yeah, I can get into that actually. But no, and then I like how he basically goes through with all the tech and that sort of stuff. And I really, really like that. And this movie also sets up Shang-Chi with Trevor Slattery. And I really, really like how they use him. I think that that's really, really good. And how this movie basically ties into Shang-Chi. And I really, really love how they do that, right? I think that that's so fun. I love how the final battle, like before Endgame or No Way Home came out, there was 2 final battles that were tied to me to be my favourite final battle. It was this final battle and the Spider-Man 3 battle. But no, those were the 2 final battles. And so I just kind of went like, God, what's the, like, I don't know, the big final battle. And like, yeah, like, because the Spider-Man 3 final battle, I love the whole idea of Spider-Man teaming up with New Goblin to take down Venom and Sandman. But this one had basically the Avengers Endgame or Spider-Man No Way Home concept of having every Iron Man armor show up to save the day, and Bright Danger, you're basically jumping from armor to armor and changing constantly and that sort of stuff. And I really, really like that idea of that. And the music in this movie is unbelievable. I love the different versions of the Iron Man theme in this movie. I prefer this version than the one from the first 2 movies, not the end credit theme. But I do love the score for this movie better. Whether if it's the end credit score or the main Iron Man 3 score, like the ba 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 da da. I think it's so good. So I think I need to give Iron Man 3 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is easily my favourite out of the Iron Man movies, and maybe out of the whole MCU I've watched so far. So, guys, please hit the like button down below if you haven't already. Hit subscribe, also the little bell icon to get notified of future videos that I make. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.